What's up guys, my name's Brandon and I've been using iOS 14.4 and iPadOS 14.4 all week long on multiple devices including my iPhone 12 Pro here, my iPhone XR, my iPhone 11, and my 2020 iPad Pro. And after consistently using the software, I wanted to give you guys an update on how it's been running for me so far. We're going to talk about the battery life, the performance, some major security patches that you'll definitely want to hear about, and more. And by the way, just a quick note, I do always have the timestamps in the description of my videos. Every single video has timestamps in the description. I know I've gotten a lot of comments about that recently. But anyways, let's talk about some additional changes and features found in iOS 14.4 that I did not talk about in my initial What's New video. And starting it off is a new watch face, which I have right here on my Apple Watch. So you do have to be on watchOS 7.3 and iOS 14.4, and this is called the Unity watch face, and it's pretty cool. So if you go into the watch application here, you can see it's Unity right there, but if you go to the face gallery, you'll see it is the first one that shows up right there. There are 3 different color combos, so we just have a black and white right there, we have this one, and then we have one with some yellow incorporated right there. So it's pretty cool, and of course you can set the complications there if you want to as well. Really good looking watch face here, included with watchOS 7.3 and iOS 14.4. Another feature that was added to the Find My application is the Items tab. So if we go into our settings, now I have this right here, which is the developer section, and to get this, you just need to download Xcode and plug your device into the computer that has Xcode installed on it, and you will get this developer section right here. And if we go down on this, down a little bit further, you'll see we have a new toggle here, and it says Find My Network Testing Display Items tab. And it says when enabled, the Items tab will be shown in Find My, and you will be able to pair Find My compatible accessories. So this is going to be the tab in the Find My application for the upcoming AirTag. So if I go ahead and toggle that on and then go into the Find My application right here, you will see down here at the bottom that we have an Items tab. So we have the people, devices, items now, and me. And on here, we get this screen right here that says keep track of your everyday items, add accessories or other items that are compatible with Find My, and they will appear here. So this is going to be great for the upcoming AirTags. And it looks like Apple will also incorporate, other brands as well, like a tile tracker and any other tracker that you have, any other accessory you have can be integrated here with iOS as well using Find My. And I did also want to show you guys the animation when you tap on Add Item right there. It shows, this little animation here for searching for items that are compatible with Find My, and then also this one right here to identify as well. So pretty neat new feature there. And of course, you can get that by enabling this in the developer section if you have Xcode installed. And speaking of the AirTags, Samsung just announced their Smart Tags, which are basically their competitor to the upcoming AirTags. And this has a little mini QR code on the back. And one of the new features in iOS 14.4 is the ability to scan small QR codes, or smaller QR codes than you could before. And I've actually noticed that this is, working better now. So I've had many times where I've tried to scan a QR code and I have to get really close to it. But now let me see if I can show you a demo of this. Look how far away it picks that up. Like I was way back here and it picks up that QR code and it's tiny. So this is definitely a nice improvement with the ability for the camera to read QR codes, smaller QR codes from a further distance as well. Another one of the new features in iOS 14.4 was the enhanced handoff feature using the U1 chip with the HomePod Mini. So now in 14.4, when you move your phone closer to a HomePod Mini, you will start to get haptic feedback, and you guys know the whole feature. If you watched my initial What's New video, you already know about this feature. However, I've noticed after installing it that it doesn't always work. So let me see if it works now. Of course, it probably will when it's on video. No. Okay, so there we go. There's your example. Look at that. It's not working right now. I'm on top of it and I still don't have the handoff feature working. So I've noticed this pretty consistently. I mean, maybe 1 out of every like 9 or 10 tries just simply doesn't work. So it's not super often. It's not like every time. It's not bad, but there's definitely room for improvement here. This is the second time it's happened today where I tried to put my phone up to the HomePod, and it was a separate HomePod. It wasn't even this one. It was the one in my bathroom, and both times it didn't work. It didn't actually hand off the audio. You can see I'm playing audio and everything, and it just simply does not hand off to the HomePod mini. So I've noticed that it's a little bit spotty. And also if I change this to the office right here, so if I change it right here, the now playing screen I've noticed is very buggy as well. So like for example, if I go into, let's see if it works now, by the way. Let's go ahead and see if I could transfer back to this. So yeah, it's still not working either way. So if I wanted to hand off and take it back to my phone, even with it playing, you can see it's just simply not working. So it is a very buggy feature, I feel like, still. So hopefully the next version of iOS will fix that and make it, consistently working every time, like 10 times out of 10. But anyways, the now playing screen would also be a little bit bugged out. And when I would go into the queue right here, sometimes when I would press on like shuffle or repeat, it just simply wouldn't tap, and I would have to tap it multiple times, and it was just very buggy. So overall, the feature is cool if it worked every time, but I think there's still some work for Apple to do to improve that. But aside from those few features and the other ones I showed in my initial What's New on 14.4 video, there's nothing else that you're gonna see in terms of visual features or changes in this update. However, there are some really important backend fixes and patches in iOS 14.4. So this update patches up some pretty nasty bugs that made national headlines earlier this week. And after hearing this, you might just want to update. If you were on the fence at all about updating to iOS 14.4, should be the reason that you go ahead and update. So if we first look at Apple's security page, it shows that they patched 3 different bugs, a kernel bug and 2 WebKit bugs. And sometimes when Apple patches bugs, they were never, a big deal because they were not being exploited by hackers or anybody like that. But these ones that were fixed in this update, they were being actively exploited, which could explain why we got this update after just 2 betas. And the fact that Apple admitted to them being actively exploited is rare. I mean, this is a company that promotes privacy and safety and security. So for them to admit that these could have been actively exploited is rare and kind of concerning, honestly. So Apple did not elaborate on these exploits, even though they said they would at a future time. So as of right now, we don't have a ton of information about these, but the head engineer at Coinbase recently tweeted this out. If you are using a mobile crypto wallet on an iOS device, be sure to update iOS as soon as possible. The update includes a fix for a remote arbitrary code execution vulnerability that may have been actively exploited. So if we go to the App Store, you can see that Coinbase is literally the number 4 application right now. It is by far the biggest crypto platform, application, website, you name it. So they could have been targeted, and who knows who else could have been targeted. I mean, maybe Robinhood, maybe Webull, who knows? So it could even be patching up the bugs, the vulnerabilities that led to all of those journalists being hacked back in December. So pretty dangerous, especially since we don't really know all of the details as of right now. And WebKit bugs, especially ones that were being actively exploited, is not something that you want to hear, and definitely not something that you want to be vulnerable to. And you're vulnerable until you update to 14.4. And again, Apple does say that additional details will be available soon. And if they mention any specific details about these security patches, I will update you guys in either another video or over on Twitter like I always do. So now let's move on to the performance side of things. So performance is definitely better in this update than it was on the last update, 14.3. So I thought this after initially installing iOS 14.4, but I didn't, want to say anything. I didn't want it to just be like placebo and just me imagining that it's faster because it's a new update, which sometimes does happen, but I didn't want to fall into that trap again. But after using the software for more time, I can confirm that it feels smoother overall, and the stutter issues are completely gone for me. Now, some people are still saying that there's stutter, like when they go into an application and then go back to the home screen, there's a slight stutter when you go from that application back to the home screen. So I have not had that since I think the first beta. So that's been fixed for me on my 12 Pro, and everything is running excellent, and it definitely feels better than 14.3 for me. It feels that way on my 12 Pro here and my iPad Pro. Those are the 2 devices I use every single day. The other ones I can't really comment on, the 10R or the 11. It probably is the same, but I've not used them long enough to really be able to tell you if they're faster than 14.3 in my experience. Now, as far as battery life goes, standby battery drain has been the main complaint from people over the past couple of updates, and thankfully it has been fixed for a lot of people. Now, some people were having battery drain in standby, overnight, and those same people are reporting in my comments that this bug has either been somewhat fixed or fully fixed. and they aren't losing as much battery now in 14.4 that they were in 14.3. So if it's not fully fixed, at least they're not losing as much battery. But some people are reporting that it's just completely fixed and they aren't losing near as much battery. Now, me personally, I cannot tell a difference in battery life at all going from 14.3 to 14.4 on any device. I've also, not had any battery drain issues, so maybe that's why I don't see a difference in the battery life. But, if you have battery drain issues, some are saying it's fixed, so obviously it's worth updating to see if your battery drain issue is fixed. But if you aren't having battery drain issues and you have fine battery life on 14.3, I would update to 14.4, just expecting the battery life to be exactly the same, because that's how it was for me on every device. So obviously, battery life is probably the most speculative feature in these software updates, because everybody's experience is going to be wildly different based on how you use the phone. But for me, I've not been able to tell a difference at all. So now let's see what you guys have been saying about iOS 14.4 in the community tab. So if you go to my channel and go to the community tab right here next to playlists, you will see I posted a new poll today 16 hours ago asking how the software has been running for you. And you can see we got 18,000 votes right there. So thank you guys for voting. It really helps with these videos. And you can also be featured in these videos as well, which is pretty cool. So you can see here, I asked how it was. 53% of people said that this software is excellent, no annoying bugs, and good battery life. 13% said good, just some minor bugs. 7% said not so good, buggy, and average or bad battery life. And 27% are not on 14.4. So 53%, more than half of these 18,000 people said that they're having no annoying bugs and good battery life. So that is really, really good news. And now let's go ahead and read some of these 400 comments right here, which, by the way, I read every single comment. I may not mention it in the video or like it or anything on here, but I do read all of them, and that helps with my research for these videos and the information I tell you guys. So Otto here says that the only real issue he's having is sometimes there is a slight lag when going back to the home screen when in an application on his 12 Pro Max. So that was the issue I was telling you guys about earlier. I have not had that issue since the first beta, but it looks like some people are still having that. My 10-hour battery has been draining a bit faster, so some people are having faster battery drain, which is unusual because most people in the actual video said that their battery drain has been fixed. So you can see here, iPhone SE 2nd generation updates really smooth so far, no complaints whatsoever. So really great to see it's running good on the iPhone SE 2. Don't get too many comments about people using that phone, so it's really nice to see that. It's running great on the 10R, says meteorologist Snow. Keep getting problems when tapping on a conversation on iMessage. The app freezes for a while on iPhone 11. So I've not heard of that. So it looks like, at least one other person is having that same issue, or maybe 9 people are having that issue right there. So let me know if you're having issues with the Messages application. I'm really curious to see if any of you have that issue. So somebody's getting better battery life on the iPhone 8 and no lags or stutter at all, which is really great. So multiple people here are having issues with intermittent lag and stutter when going to the home screen or just scrolling on the home page there. iPhone 11 Pro for this guy. Not sure what Demas had here. So pretty interesting. I feel like my touch responsiveness is getting slow on the 10R, so really interesting there. So here we go. I was waiting to see if people were having Bluetooth issues. So somebody's having Bluetooth issues here with CarPlay. Can't play songs when also connected to my AirPods Pro in the car anymore. Bug since 14.3. So I'm really curious. Let me know in a comment below if you're having any issues with Bluetooth, because that's one thing I know has been a pretty big complaint over the past couple of versions, and haven't seen a lot of people talk about it in 14.4, which leads me to believe that at least some of it was fixed. So I'm really curious. Let me know in a comment down below if you're having any issues or if they have been fixed related to Bluetooth. And then Olav here has issues with the green display tint. So he calls it the green display gate when a screen brightness isn't on 100% on the 12 Pro. I still have not had that issue on any of my iPhone 12s or 12 Pros, but unfortunately Apple's still not fixed the green tint issue. So there's a lot more on here. I don't want to bore you guys to death or put you to sleep by reading all these, but if you want to check out what other people said, you can go to the community tab on my channel and read all of these 399 comments here on this poll. So again, thank you to everybody for voting in that. So now with all that being said, and after reading your comments there on the community tab, should you update to iOS 14.4? And to that, I say absolutely. I mean, with major security patches, performance improvements, and possibly a battery drain fix for some people, iOS 14.4 is a no-brainer update that all of you guys should be on, in my opinion. Now, as for what's next for Apple, Apple could be releasing a new beta as soon as this coming week. So the first week of February, we could see a new iOS beta. So it will likely be either iOS 14.5 beta 1 or iOS 14.4.1 beta 1. As for what will actually be in the next version of iOS, Apple just this week released a new report called A Day in the Life of Your Data. And I'll leave that report linked in the description below if you want to read it. But Apple did say that an upcoming iOS release will feature the app tracking transparency feature that we've been hearing about for months now. And this is the feature where you're going to be able to limit, the information that's given out to applications. And this is what Facebook has been fighting a lot. I've talked about this numerous times here on the channel, and I'll leave some links below if you're interested in reading about that. But basically, Apple said that in early spring, we're going to be seeing this feature in iOS. So I'm assuming that that feature will be in the next point release, which is 14.5. So iOS 14.5, we can assume will have the app tracking transparency feature that we've been awaiting since really iOS 14 was announced. So that'll be really interesting, and I cannot wait to bring beta coverage of that update here to the channel, which you guys know you'll be the first to see. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for iOS 14.4. This is my follow-up review of the software after using it for a little while on multiple devices every single day. So let me know what you guys think about iOS 14.4 down in the comments below. Are you liking it? Are you hating it? Let me know all your thoughts, and of course the device you're using as well down there in those comments. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe for more iOS coverage. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.